Hey, the other day, I was talking with a friend of mine, and he was asking me between the U.S. and Canada, which country is the best for me for me to go to study, and I understood the problem. I understood the predicament that guy found himself in, because those are two countries which are more or less the same, but if you dig deeper in, there are differences in terms of immigrants while you migrate there. So I wanted to tell you today about the differences between these two countries, because for most people there is a lot of misunderstanding and a lack of ability to make a decision which country is the best for you to go as a student. And I'll give you the pros and the cons, the advantages and the disadvantages of going to either of these two countries, because let's not lie to ourselves. Those are the countries with the biggest majority of immigrants from mostly Africa. Even in Asia, those are the countries you will find most of these aspiring migrants want to go to. So watch this video to the end. Make sure that you click the like. Don't leave here without clicking the like. Just click it, and make sure that you subscribe to this channel, so that whenever I make a video, you'll be among the first people to be notified. And that calls for you to look at that bell. Make sure that it's turned blue, so that then again, when we post a video, you'll be among the first people to be notified. So let's start with the USA and the advantages of going to study in the USA, as an international student. And I usually say that the USA offers many opportunities for a student who wants to pursue further education in that country. One, these are a very multicultural kind of a society, whereby most of the cities and states in the USA are multicultural. You'll find people from India, people from China, people from all these countries congregating there to get this kind of international experience. So also the US offers a wide variety of state-of-the-art universities which are recognized. And if you say that you've studied in certain university in the USA, you'll find that most of these international organizations easily pick you. Like if it's Alphabet, the parent company for Google; if it's Meta, the parent company for Facebook and Instagram, they can easily recruit you or employ you with the knowledge that you have this kind of international exposure, and you studied in a university in the USA. So with that being said, there are also disadvantages of studying in these USA universities, or choosing to study in the USA universities. And one main problem with the USA universities is that it's not easy for you to transition from a student to a permanent resident after you finish your studies in the USA. That is one big problem. Apart from people in sciences and most of these STEM courses, those are the courses which allow you to study, to continue your stay in the US after you are done with your studies. And this is because most of these US companies will be able to sponsor you for if they employ you, they'll be able to sponsor you to continue working for them. And this mostly happens for people in computer science and IT related courses, because these companies have so many positions which they cannot easily fill, and it makes financial sense for them to sponsor you because it requires a lot of money to sponsor a student to get a visa, H-1B visa, to be able to study, to work for them in the US. Another major downside to this USA university for someone who is maybe coming from Africa is that they will not allow you to apply for family reunification while you are a student in the US, as opposed to the Canadian education system, which allows you to apply for your spouse and family and children to be able to join you in Canada while you are continuing with your studies. So the US limits you in terms of you are the only person who is allowed to be in the US while you are studying, and that for me is a next for me, because for those people who have a family, they usually want to immigrate and go to the US and live, not to the country of their dream, and live together with their family. So let's go to Canada, because Canada is one country I usually vote for whenever someone or anyone asks me between US and Canada, where do I go as a student? And these are the reasons. These are my main reasons for encouraging people to go and study and live in Canada. One thing, Canada is more inclined towards encouraging most newcomers, alien people, to live permanently in that country, because that is a very expansive country with so many opportunities, and they have labor shortages, serious labor shortages in some sectors like healthcare. So that is why when you go to your LinkedIn, or you go to your Google and search for healthcare jobs or personal support workers or continuing care assistant jobs in Canada, they'll populate your screen. There are so many jobs which are unfilled, and they require people to fill those jobs. So that is why they usually subtly, however in a subtle way, they encourage people to remain after finishing their studies in Canada. So Canada, as I told you in the bit about USA, allows you to bring your family after you've already joined university or college in Canada. So after maybe like 6 months, you can apply for a family reunification visa, whereby your spouse, be it your husband or your spouse and children, they can join you in Canada and live there permanently, not permanently, but during the period you are, during the length of your study visa. So if your study visa is 3 years or 4 years, your spouse will be given a work visa, which is equal to the duration of your study visa. So if your study visa is 3 years, your spouse will be given a 3 years work visa, and with that they can be able to work any type of job which they are qualified in Canada, and that can go a long way in helping you to pay for your school fees and substitute all other bills which you need to pay while in the US. They can also support you in paying school fees and maybe accommodation. And the other thing, if you have children, and I know most people have children, Canada allows you to bring your children to Canada to live with them, and they get the full benefit of other children who are born and raised in Canada. So if you have children, you get the opportunity of bringing them to Canada and staying with them, and they get full benefits as any other child, and protections as any other child who lives in Canada. The other thing about Canada is that at the tail end of your studies, maybe if your studies was 3 years, the Canadian government allows you to apply what we call post-graduation work permit. Post-graduation work permit means that after you are done with your studies, they give you another visa which allows you to work, to search for work in Canada for a duration maybe of 3 years or 2 years. And that allows you now to get a job, and in that process now, after the maybe 2 years, while living using the post-graduation work permit, you can apply for other types of visas, and that is a path towards permanent residency, which eventually gives you a chance to apply for what we call citizenship in Canada, which in less than 5-6 years, having transitioned from a student to a permanent resident, and then eventually to a Canadian citizen, the path is almost clearer than the one for US, and that is when considering going to the US as a student, because most people who have gone to the US as a student, mostly they are, after their duration of study is over, they are pushed. Let me use the word pushed in quotes. they are pushed to go back to their own home countries. Otherwise, they'll have overstayed their visas, and you don't want to find yourself in the US having overstayed your visa. It's not one of the best situations to find yourself in. So basically, strive to get a permanent kind of a visa which allows you to live in the specific country you want to be. So thank you very much for being with us throughout this live session. If you are watching this video on replay, make sure that you leave a comment down here. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel again, and make sure that you turn on the notification bell. Make sure also that you watch at least one video so that you help this channel grow. And I'm thankful for that. Thank you for the 4,000 of you or so who have chosen to be members of this channel. Thank you very much, and have